Hello, Lauralee.
Hmm?
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
No.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I'm Julian.
Julian.
Julian Michael.
Julian.
Michael is my birth name that you gave me. You know why? Because you're my mommy. You're my mother. Do you remember that you were born in Montana?
Yep.
Do you remember how much you love Montana? 406.
Yeah.
It's unique with the designation 406 as the area code for the phone. But it's one of the biggest land masses in America with one single area code, because it doesn't have more than, I think it's 1 million people or somewhere around there before they give it another area code. Anyway, 406 is, oh, and look at Sweet Pea just woke up. Come on, Sweet Pea. Come say hi to the mom. Wait. Come over here. Ooh, here's our buddy. This is our buddy that came to live with us as a even littler baby in Deerhoo.
Oh.
Remember when we lived in Deerhoo?
Mm-hmm.
That's the cow pasture
Yeah.
down by I-90. There's actually some good people down there. It's like, it seems Amish is the word, sort of feel in that area. Anyway, we're here in Anaconda. We've been here for a little bit now. We sort of got back to Anaconda, but we originated from Phillipsburg. Well, we actually originated from Missoula, and then we migrated to Phillipsburg, and then we actually have a place in the history books in Phillipsburg officially with my, I think I did serve the 3 terms on this town council, and I was the council president during 2 of those terms. Council president, like, yeah, the Bugs president. MP Bug, up on the hill, where they found silver in 406. Just down the street where Lauralee was born. Well, actually, you were born a little more north.
Yeah.
I love you love how the salon did our hair. I mean, look, we're matching. So fabulous. Mother and son who. And we're not even Japanese. Anyway, we're here in 406 where the mother is the native. So I have the native blood too, so that makes me a native too. Even though I was born in what is now, it all used to be one area code. No, it wasn't. No. I think it was all one to begin with, and then it split into 2, east and west. So anyway, and I was born actually in the east, which is 509, which is eastern Washington. And then when Father took the position as power grid engineer with BPA, we moved from Ephrata, where I was born, to Vancouver, Washington, where Dad took his position as an engineer with Bonneville Power Administration. And he started working on power grid systems. He built his signatures on all over the Northwest and over here. In fact, he's the one who he didn't just build it. I mean, he wasn't like the one who hammered the nails or whatever they do. He was the engineer. He was the Bonneville Power Administrator. See, I have had, and here's the thing. There's so much a person forgets in their lifetime as they go by. But going through this situation with you in your senior years, I've been being flooded lately with the memories that I have, that got washed out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really caused a jolt in me, sort of emotionally and spiritually, I think. And it's been kind of like a positive and negative charge all at the same time. And you know what? That's so accurate of a way to say it, because we've been having electrical surge blowouts with me being near them since we've moved into the bus. And we moved into the bus, and we should make a cliff note and make a respectable and honorable, what do you call it? It's credits to our benefactors and best friends and 406 family, Donna and Craig and Mark. That's right. That's right. They've been our rock since even before I became your primary caregiver and had to take hiatus and shut the company down. But that's okay, because a new entity is rising out of it, which I kind of had a feeling in my deeper consciousness that it was like a preservation archive. And it's like because this situation with you has taken a priority based on based on our personal expectations that are established from our, agreed management of relationship as parent and child. It's good to be a child at 60 years old, almost 60, but we're at 60. And it's really cool to have Sweet Pea. Yes, that's right, Mr. Buddy. He says, I'm taking a bath over here with my tongue. I'm doing my kitty lick shower bath thing. He's cleaning his coat. He's got a beautiful coat. So anyway, here we are in the 406 bus. Fast forward. And it's been a tough journey. And it's taken us through sort of like, it's kind of like a jungle. In some ways it's kind of felt like a sewer, but, you got to go through some dark places to get to better, what do I call it? Higher ground. And we've been taking that journey. Oh, and see, the thing about it, and the reason that we finally got here, it's a whole story how we got here, because we came from up on the hill, but we landed in the cow pasture first. But I have respect for the cow pasture, because the cow pasture had compassion for the circumstances of what was occurring personally for my mother and me as her caregiver. And they had the human decency, see, they were my former clients. And so they extended courtesy of shelter as we entered this illness situation with you. And they provided us a haven for that. And they were very graceful, because it was the symptoms of the illness that you have as what's happening on your on your brainwave scale. It caused physical interaction in the world that doesn't really coincide with sociological norms and expected cultural integrations and ways of life, or even ways of doing things, and suddenly it's a whole new universe of what you live in. And suddenly human society doesn't really have much factor other than the care factor to help you get through it. And so that's the journey that we've taken. That's led us from P-Bird to Dear Who, over here to Anaconda Haha. But it's really cool. I've always liked it. We've been connected with Anaconda ever since we lived in Phillips. What are you doing, Mr. Silly Kitty Cat? Here, there's an open cubby. Let me get you in the cubby over here, because this one's open for you too. There you go. There you go. There you go. Kitty wants to get up in the cubby. So anyway, we've been integrated with Anaconda. Well, and business-wise too, I was integrated with Anaconda. That's how I have the association that brought us here. It's not because of it. It is because of it. It's not directly connected to it. It's just because it was one of our service areas for the company, which is morphed into something else now that's cropped up from it. And the thing about it is it's working, but I'm not engaged working. It's kind of on autopilot right now. I've started interfacing with it, and it's really strong. It's becoming it became a 406 staple when I first developed the media platform, the digital platform. It was the first deep world digital platforms that ever existed, at least in 406. It was QSPN Live, and it rocked the conventional media enterprise of 406. I mean, but it was going to happen anyway. I mean, I was actually at a conference of media at the university, Montana State University, yeah, it was in Helena. And they were having a conference on the cultural impact and shock they were all having that digital media just took over and outperformed them in the rural market. And they were all in these Armanis and these wonderful silk ties and so preciously packaged. The whole empire of traditional media, and I was there in my hoodie. I've still got the old Columbia red hoodie that I was there in the mix of all of them in their conference, and I was the one they were talking about because I was the one who just infiltrated Deep 406 and modernized it with digital media, and I revolutionized the whole industry in the state. So there's my legacy in 406 from your genetic. Well, it's you're a 406 native. I'm half Montanan. You're a full Montanan. You were born in Charlo, Montana, in May of 21 of 1938. You haven't let me take you back up to Charlo since we've been here for we've had you back here for 16 years. See, what happened was in 2009 we lived in Fountain Hills. You lived with me in my place up there. Fountain Hills is a kind of a United States icon because it's one of the very few cities in the entire United States that has absolutely zero streetlights. And it's on the undeveloped side of McDowell Mountains, which on the other side is Scottsdale, which runs into Phoenix Hoo-Ha. overpopulation nightmare in the desert sun. But Fountain Hills is something else altogether, and we lived there for quite a long time. Then we came here because the financial crisis in 2009 wiped everything out because, I mean, not just for me and my company, it was for the whole globe. There was a real estate scam where they were running on stated income for mortgages by the bazillions for underfunded home buyers. And what it did is it collapsed the real estate market, and Phoenix, where we lived, on the other side of, because we lived on the desert side. It's like the other side, on the other side of the valley where Fountain Hills is North Scottsdale. And so but Fountain Hills is more, I hate to say exclusive, but it kind of is. I mean, and even Paradise Valley, because see, the thing about Paradise Valley and Scottsdale is that they're so crowded and overpopulated. But it's not like that in Fountain Hills. And then there's that little place that's, because you can go from Fountain Hills over to North Scottsdale the back way across the desert behind the McDowell Mountains, which is the best way to go. We used to do that a lot. And then, well, you don't have to go through all the traffic of, but there's a little, in between Fountain Hills and North Scottsdale, there's a little tiny town, and I just had remembered it not so long ago, recently. And I can't remember what the name of it is, but I'll look it up on the Google thing and find out, because we used to go out there a lot in the desert between there and then Apache Junction. We lived in Apache Junction, which from Fountain Hills you can get to one of two ways. You can go out the long way around Superstition, or you can go back through Phoenix or no, it's over to Mesa. Well, you go through to Phoenix and then hit the interstate, go over to Mesa, and then go that way. You had a place in Apache Junction. You had a home in Apache Junction when you still worked for Forever Resort. That's right next. You live right next to Superstition Mountains, which is really famous. A lot of movies made out there, and I've actually, I think you've been with me. We've been to the top of the Superstition Mountains. I think it was Maureen might have been with us. You and Maureen used to go rock hounding and desert exploring all the time. She was your best friend, and besides your family members, the specific ones in Maureen and a couple of others, they'll be there waiting for you to greet you when you go through the whole cycle transformation. Because that's what happens in Stardust. It doesn't go away, it just regenerates and reanimates. Starlight, yes! That's what he just said, Starlight! We're all Starlight. Where did you go? Oh, he's trying to get outside. He doesn't understand the cold horror outside. That's where we get the thick skin. Do you know there's still not even 1 million people in Montana, Mom? Can you believe that in the United States of overpopulation of everywhere but naturalized United States? It's Americans. And I'm not being like, oh, you're up there where you wanted to go. Well, you know how to get down. Come here. well, see, you don't even want, he just loves attention. We didn't acquire him, he acquired us. He found us. Huh. Yeah, it was on a nice sunny August evening. And the sun was going on the sunset stage. Yes, you should just sweet pea around. Silly sweet pea. There's an attention hound. Tigger's, he's sleeping a lot, but Tigger's is 18 years old, so he's allowed to sleep a lot. Him and you are about the same age in the difference between cat years and human years. You're such a pretty kitty. Yes, you are. You're like a little angel looking down. You are an angel the way you came to us. Yeah. You came from the cow pasture. Yeah. You did, too. Oh, my God. I've got to give credit to the former customers, Valley Foods, Jen and Gerald Bender. They're great people. They're the ones who caught us when you fell. Unconditionally. According to your terms, not hoo-ha. And that's the way it was supposed to be. Do you have any regrets? I didn't think so. Neither do I. And Sweet Pea is the little angel that came at a special time. And he carried us here. Actually, I'm sorry, he set off, he joined the team, is what he did, of Carmel, who is still with us. Carmel, your kitty, Larley, died the very night that we brought the coach, the bus, over here to Anaconda and moved over here for the access to doctor, hospice, and a few other Medicare services. Because you can you, and I'm going to say that this woman, my mother, Larley West, native Montana, bred, born, raised, cream of the crop, has been abandoned by a disaster that has become a government entity of the 406 empire. And we, for one, and our entire legacy of 406 is insulted. My mother is ineligible for Medicaid in her home state. It's a disgrace. And I am mentioning this because it is a tragedy and a shame, and there is a governor who came from hoo-ha, who is an unhonorable disgrace to 406. That's my personal opinion. And I have been there at his hoo-ha and watched him run around with his hoo-ha smoke coming out of his bald head. That's right. This is the 406 show with your host and hostess, Julian Ricci and Larley West. Montana native through and through. Right? That's right.
Yeah.
I know what you just said, and that was a beep beep. Or bleep bleep, right? I know. It's an insult to 406. And I love how we can still call an entire state by one area code. Yay! I even got a shirt for that. It says 406. I got it at the Hoo-Ha Butte. They do the festival every summer, the mining festival.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it turns out that's a global event. It's really a great event. The last time I went with Don and Craig.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Craig drove. That was a great. Oh, and there was somebody, some great big huge celebrity on the main stage. See, I'm having these memory issues. I think it's a kind of like a, like a absorption board
Mm-hmm.
for. I'm having this sort of like, detached observation that I'm absorbing a lot of mental disability in a supplemental way for you
Mm-hmm.
to provide you psychological compound to help reinforce the circumstances of brain disease illness that has engulfed your brain and your body.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you something. Better than any person I have ever seen in this world. This woman, no matter how much she ever peed me off, or anybody else drove me nuts, I've never seen a more amazing human being in my life. And I would give up anything. And I would shut down everything. To adhere to your requests, to have your last breath of quality, even if it has to be in a shoebox on wheels. But you know what? There is a quality, especially in this one, because it's a matter of the heart, and it's a matter of the soul. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of human definable dignity, quality, and definition that sets it above the rest. And we can call it by personal name in this particular situation with our bus adventures, which, by the way, is very comfortable even in hoo-ha degree weather. If you, can do it right, you can plan it right, and you can, who would have known? But here we are. And you know what? I think we're all the better for it. And we have Craig, Donna, and Mark to thank for it, because if anybody ever had real friends in the world and in 406, it's us. And if there are any angels in 406, it is Craig, Donna, or should we be etiquette and rather say Donna, Craig, and Mark, and or Mark, Craig, and Donna, because there's no difference between the equality of higher being and I think there's intellect there and compassion and understanding even. I think there's humanity. And I think it's the wrong term because it's there's a quality in humanity, and not all humanity has it. And that's clear every day. Even, how many feet is it? I'm guessing how many feet between hoo-has. I don't know, but it's like barn stables or something like that. But Well, because there's a lot of barnyard-like what do
two,
you call it, mentality, or what you call it,
six,
education, or train,
seven,
or all of the
9,
above.
10.
Yep. You did that. You want to do it again? Go
No.
ahead. No? Okay. See?
1,
This-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
I love you, Laura. And that is why, I mean, this woman made the mandate to be at home.
Yeah.
And as her genetic flesh and blood. And had the privilege of all the entitlements that have come with both of my parents.
Yeah.
And my genetic composition and the sociological history. My father is the one that electrified southwestern Montana with his own hands. From the design board through the entire engineering process to the implementation of electricity going on in southwestern Montana. Think about it. Garrison Substation came from my hereditary, and I'm not bragging, and I'm not, BSing, or I'm talking about heredity and placement and honor. And there's word, I'm having this memory problem, but there's entitlement. There's entitlement. And it's not, it's not like undeserved entitlement. It is genetic and bloodline entitlement. And that's why we're in the bus. Because in the hierarchy of family, through the process of life, it is the duty of the legacy to be the platform for the origin, for the platform to survive, to develop, to endure, develop. You keep doing that. And ascend and evolve. Because that is the only purpose of being, which is plasma. Science has very transparently, without saying it, proven it, besides philosophy so long ago. Thank goodness for the forward pioneers such as George Gurdjieff, old P.D. Ouspensky, Mars Nicole, Vernon Howard. I wouldn't even know about any of those people without Vernon, but I knew Vernon in person because I was a class member for a lot of years. But to tell others that society is not a society if they're fleas and they never take care of their own. Because humans were not designed to be bugs, though they frequently act like them. We need big swatters that are built to go out, quack, quack, quack. They're like mosquitoes. That, without consciousness, basically that's what humanity is. Ants and bees. That's what Vernon said right out of his mouth, and he was right. I mean, they can be right all around you. But being is the light, and it casts out all the darkness, and it leads you to more authentic and more dimensional light in the experience of existence as human beings on planet Earth, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why genetic beings are mandated to be of one accord and to ascend in strings of threads of family and heredity, and to never lose respect or honor for the wishes of our elders, and to be the rocks as they were our origins. It doesn't matter the history. It matters the soul and the being and the development that comes through the hardship of doing the right thing. I think that's the way Vernon, Mr. Howard, would have said it in one, 2 words or 3 words. What an amazing man. I feel honored to have been present in his live lectures. And the fact that he actually interacted with me personally. I remember when he told me, he screamed at me, get out of the way, because I was walking down the middle of the aisle, and there was a rule, a social rule in the foundation that you always walk to the, we drive on the right side, so we always had to walk to the right side, and so I'm walking down the wrong aisle, and he goes, left, as he's coming up the way, and I was just like talking to whomever, walking right in the middle, and he's left. And I wouldn't get out of his left, and he stopped me dead in my tracks. And he said, wake up! Right in front of everybody. And he said, are you that asleep, mister?
Yeah.
You are here to wake up. You are here to learn the truth. And you are here to open the door of the light from your soul into your animate life. And you walk to the left or the right when the rule specifies, and you follow the order of respect of humanity. It's not just about going by the rules. It's about growth and higher being shining through. So anyway, that really caused a jolt in me. Because he did it. And it was unexpected, because I really was baking, just walking down, blabbing. And he shook my gate and opened my doors. And he came in with a big stick and went, woo, wah, whack. But you know what? I learned to walk to my left when traffic was flowing the other way on the right. And vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be... So, anyway, there's all that. And I never would have got to any of that without you and my dad, especially you, because you're the one who took me to southwestern Montana, where Mr. Howard had established the foundation. There in Boulder City. Boulder City is not the little tiny Lake Mead top city, or Lake Overlook City, that it was when we lived there in 1980. Neither is Las Vegas, and we can't go there anymore because it's just a disappointment. And you know what? Lake Mead, they overbuilt Las Vegas to such a degree, and and now finally, I guess they lifted building restrictions or whatever in Boulder City. Now it's just Boulder, too much population. It's just as much smog as Las Vegas now. Las Vegas, both ends of the valley are all... We've polluted Lake Mead and dried it up and changed the whole desert ecology, and it's really, I think the reservoir in Henderson's had even dried up, and and they're overpopulated, and was the cause. The central theme of that was California, but California was like, I don't know, the bugs that destroy whatever they make. Mm-hmm. Not go into all of that, but that's just the shorts. So many of them, after they shoeboxed off California. Then there was a whole outfall to Nevada and Arizona. And it's just like ants and bees going everywhere with no convention or any, conscience, just oozing as they crash into everything. Anyway, that sounds critical, but you know what? Truth is truth. And society has a story. So anyway, here we are. What you doing?
Yeah.
You're doing what?
I'm making you biscuit.
You're making me something. Okay. Thank you. Are you making me bars of gold?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, good. Let's go on a cruise. No, don't go on a cruise, because you know what they do on cruises? They turn green and throw up. I know, because I've been on. In fact, I've been on. You know what? Do you remember? There is a name I'm going to say, and I want to look at your face when I say this name. Glenn. Glenn. Do you remember?
What am I supposed to do?
Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
What? What's so yeah? Do you remember Glenn?
Yeah. What's he supposed to do?
He was your first boyfriend after your divorce from my father many years later. And you guys did that whole midlife. You were younger than I am now. And you guys had a hoo-ha. Oh, your hair is going hoo-ha. Let me help you with your hair. Don't let your hair go anywhere. Laura Lee West, because you're the best. Better than all the rest. Even Tina Tuna. Now that's not any, negatives for the actual Tina Turner. Turner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's right. I think, you know what? The temperature is dropping. So I'm going to give it just a little more boost here. And I think I'll bring it a little closer. Now the table pulls out the other way, but it doesn't pull out this way. So what I'll do is, look, we can bring this. We can bring the fireplace out. And then what we can do, because there's an outlet right there. Oh, okay, it's plugged in over here, so I got to sort of get over here, undo this. Now I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to continue. There, Barley. Best of the West. Better than all the rest. And don't forget Tina. And T. And then P. And then Clinton. But there's got to be a tree. And a dog named Petey. I'll just call him Sweetie. Okay, so do you feel the warm air? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, let me look at where's the phone who? Holy moly. Ooh. So I'll just knock a few things over because it's a fun thing to do. I don't know what I did with the phone thing. Or, it's not, I mean, it is a phone, but it's not just a phone anymore. It's more, generally call it a device. Here's the device. Well, I've lost the device temporarily. And the only reason I'm looking for the device is because it tells the temperature. And I could, by looking at it, oh, duh. Oh my stars. Do you see what happens for the see, I have a mission to do something. And it's, you've always inspired so many things I've done. But this mission involves improving the circumstances, the world, the daily operations, and the humanity. I guess charities, I always look at that as superficial, but just the proper value and order of humanity, right?
Yeah.
That's right. And that is specified even in human code. Honor thy folks. And so it's good to look after your elders and to make sure that as their legacy, you adhere to their wishes and you honor their end of life, will of mind and spirit, being, and all that stuff. You allow them the dignity to maintain their integrity of personal atmosphere and space here on planet Earth, so long as we have to suffer as human organisms here like ants and bees. I love you, Laura Lee. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do the video of us having one of these conversations. Because I wanted to leave a footprint for legacy. To understand that there is a higher order and a hierarchy of humanity and how it works, according to genetic, spiritual, and social codes interacting as one force of humanity, right? And whether we learn these principles of truth through philosophy, religion, the orientation and balance of different, orientations to truth, is how we balance the weight of living as human organisms. Am I right or am I wrong? Marley, do you think I'm right or wrong?
I think it is.
Both, right and wrong.
Yes, Yes,
You're silly. You've always been silly. So Laura Leek's kind of lying on her side as instructed by the nurses, which has got her a little bit lively. Yep. Yep, she wasn't smoking any weed, I promise. Oh my goodness. No, she has bed sore on her, at the small of her back. It happens from the pressure of lying on your back all the time. So the nursing staff has implemented a correctional little gravity flow here where we line mom normally with pillows on her one side, so she's, well, either which way she wants to go. We put her lying on her side and taking the pressure off of the small of her back, which is causing the bed sore. So we're healing the bed sore. And we're putting little creams and solutions and things on it when we do the sort of bathing routine in the morning. Generally, we only do it once a day. Sometimes there's other events and incidents that occur that are just like random, that's just life. Do you have any regret coming back to 406 Montana?
Yep.
You regret it?
Yep.
Okay, so she regrets coming back. Now, I, for one, have giving up my entire life in other regions. Find that perplexing, because I'm the one who dropped everything to bring it home to 406. And you now tell me you wished you didn't come home to Montana. I don't think that's the way you feel. I think you're glad to be in Montana. And look, you're not even after suffering the cold so bad. And so the feelers are now going out, and we're starting to make connections with other options, and we might take an adventure and go in our bus to maybe another location that's in the Anaconda area, and try a different environmental sphere of happening, and something a little more comfortable and, well, there's some very negative and black matter that has been baiting our energy since we've arrived here, and it's caused some grave damage on different levels, and very much related to material possessions, very expensive ones like Audi Q5s and home invasions and key acquisitions and hijacking said Audi Q5s and then breaking them and causing harm and damage to them, having taken them with no authorization to do so. We have what is a neighborhood here, which seems to have a lot of unsociologically frameworked expression in the world, particularly around itself. That's not positive energy for anybody or anything, really, to put it suggestively light. Yep, see? And so it's caused some disorder, and it's caused some damage. Oh, and this is where insult hits beyond the crater of the injury. The owner of the Camping Who establishment.
I did.
No, not you. It was the, here, you're losing your hair as you're, there you go. Now your hair, see, your hair can go anywhere. And it's best to be there. Okay, so we're back to the hoo-ha proprietor that actually, get this, in America, it's no surprise these days. That's right, even 406 Kitty, Sweet Pea, is in tune with this one. has the absolute vacancy of consciousness to enable said well, I guess representative of human disaster spilling into others' lives and causing property damage and taking absolutely zero responsibility, and most probably drunken, as we've observed, I don't know, 9 months, 2 months, however that goes, I don't know. And then, about 5 times a day for the pickup on that. And then, doing your own, he's doing the self-serving of going to the location and picking up the content and then returning to his, sardine can, the old one. It's kind of rusted. It's kind of an eyesore, really. But that's not my problem, really. But destruction to my personal property and a very dear sort of friend-family combo associate of mine is really disrespectful. And what was even more insult to injury in a situation like this was the owner of the hoo-ha park deflecting. See, as he labeled it, contractor. But as Donna reinforced, his contractor, quote, home invaded, key lifted, hijacked what was off the showroom floor an $80,000 car. And he disrespected me, he disrespected Donna, he disrespected the car and broke it. And he disrespected himself and his boss, hoo-ha man over there, who just did a privacy and communications violation in a text message to me. That's when you cuss or swear, obscenities or superlatives is what they say in the legal sense, in text. It's against the law. It's called a privacy and communications violation, and it's very, very severe and serious. So anyway, I sort of corrected him on that and said, please don't do that, because you don't have the right to do that, and you don't want to do that and suffer the consequences. So just don't do that. And I said, as being a person who once did that, I've never done it. I won't do it ever again. I'm obsessive compulsive, and I'll drive you nuts and keep speaking my mind until I get my story straight and then some. But I know that's aggravating for others. It's aggravating for me sometimes too, and then I just shut it off because, there's so many and every way to say anything. But it should be done, with dignity and social etiquette. And that's what we've learned. So that's what happens with, But then there's other sort of living organisms that are branded as human beings that are a little more unconscious and never learn lessons from all the damage they do in generally every day of their lives and all the ways they do it. And some of that's unfolded over here for us. And so we need to separate ourselves from that. And so we're in the actual process of doing all of that and sorting it out, working out, and we've gotten all the satellite cams and everything down on the property so that the next time the owner refuses to turn over the probably digital tape, recording or whatever you call it, file, of the proof and evidence of the disruption to one of his clients, which also makes him some hey-hoo there, put whatever, you want in place and go with that, and then say, what is that? And where did it come from? All of it is hey-hoo. And so we've been violated here in the little camper trailer scenario. I mean, and it's actually a very, I mean, physically a nice place, and it's right next to the hospital and the doctor. And you know what? Let us give a what do you call it? A gratitude, a humility, a bow and gratuity to Dr. Pafford and Bonnie and her team of hospice, and Doctor and his team, and their branch of community hospital, which is 1 block from us, which is why we're here, and the bus, because it was the only way to get here. But now we've been being terrorized by, I guess I'd call it, troll infestation. And I think Hoo-Ha knows about it, but is in denial. And Donna said it's probably a relative ant or bug, something or other, humanoid situation, biological manifestation of sorts. Well, anyway, whatever that is, it's too close to us, and it's being enabled by its boss. That's only made it worse, and it's insulting for the boss's clientele, which is us on the bus. And so we have concerns about that. Big Sky RV Park and all is what they call it here in Anaconda, Montana, 406-59711 in area code terms. What's going on for you, Larley? What do you need? You wanted me to pull up the covers? Yeah? Like this? So you're tucked around? Okay, we're doing that. This is the Larley and Julian show, where we go over it all, and we hash it out, and we take out the trash, and then, we move on to better, higher pastures and green. Are you okay? Do you want some hot cocoa? Okay, well then we'll have to wrap down our episode here of the Best of Larley West. And shame on those, well, I'm sorry, horrible demoned relatives who wanted to extort you and drag you to terrible, overpopulated, polluted, yahoos in America who, and subject you to overpolluted, nightmare, disaster area, ego-driven, train wreck relatives who spread damage, hatred, evil, fabrication, overinterpretation of exaggeration that was developed solely to entitle them to feel better than everybody else in the world. And we were mandated to go subject ourselves to that. She has a relative who is kind of at the head of the snake there. And then there's this granddaughter niece person who got all mesmerized and hypnotized by this one's evil other biological what do you call it? Sibling, that's the term. Those sort of bugs. I've got one of them myself. 2 of them, actually. From the father's 2 different wives. The lady before Larley here, who's sort of losing her hair. But we don't want it to go either. So let's replace it there. Okay. And then there was another one. Oh, there was the one before him. I mean, the one before her mom, Larley. Nora. there was a brother from Nora, and there was a bug brother, whatever it is. You see, I call it the Holy Grail. Society calls it the Bible, whatever. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but it's an archive of knowledge, culturally, that's been passed down through, hundreds of years, or, bazillions, really. So, So in that book of knowledge, there are 10 little codes that we as human beings are instructed we should observe and consider to adhere to. And one of them is to honor our genetic origin, our parents. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they did. They could be the most horrible, hideous person on earth, as far as anyone knows. But if they are your parent, you don't exist without them. I think that's what the code is talking about. And since it's a recurring code, so, well, I'm a coding engineer sort of person, so engineering person, so I understand that on another scale. And the good book tells us to look, as far as that particular codex, and I'm sure other codex say it the same, different ways, to honor our genetic code, our parents, our heritage, because without it we don't exist. And if we have no honor for it or its wishes, then we're stamping it out. And I have relatives who stand for this. I have her sister wish to extort her in the situation she's in right now with the Alzheimer's and dementia. And we're kind of in the advanced stages. She's Trooper Arlie West is. Arlie West is the best. And you are a staple for, kind of the nightmare that you had to go through. Are you trying to sit up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. What I'm going to do is sit behind you, okay?
Okay.
That way I can, and I'm going to put a pillow here, and then I'm going to sit here. Now you can lean back. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Sweet Pea's up on his little perch, and Tiggers is over here, the driver's seat, because he's the driver, he's the chauffeur, Tiggers is. And Tiggers is kind of like the same age you are in kitty years. So how do you feel?
It feels like warm.
Okay, I'm going to get you some cocoa here in just a bit. Yes, it's for you.
Yeah.
It's directly for you. And I want, as your son, Michael, you asked me to make sure you spend your last breath at home, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me to make sure that last breath was on 406 territory, Montana, right?
Yeah, it was.
And I have adhered to your request through some very extreme, unsupported situation. That all of the Yahoo, what do you call them? Snicketeers.
Yeah.
They've got all of their judgmental crises of what they wanted to impose so that they could take glory for being saviors of, they don't even know how to save themselves from going down the toilet as one of their own turds, right? Specifically one of your sisters.
Yeah.
There's only two of them. One of them's dead, and the other one's unfortunately still alive. The sewer wish-wash.
Yeah.
I guess the humans who are part of your genetic
Yeah.
first family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have a granddaughter who's fallen under that evil, I guess that's a term you put for that kind of, I mean, this is my own personal opinion. Human waste sewer, waste, trash, bag, garbage, pit, hellhole, Satan's back end release. Imagine what that is like. Well, we don't have to imagine. It was a mutation of her mother a couple of stages after her. Oh. So, anyway, well, we don't need to get into that. Anyway, you're not going to be disgraced by those. I personally classify it as unconscious human matter. That's a good way to say it. I think it's pretty benign in definition.
Yeah.
It's not sociologically inappropriate, and it's certainly not cussing or swearing.
No.
So when family abandon itself due to stipulations and demands and does not honor its genetic code, well, there are higher forces that they put themselves under the influence of. Such as, it's the same here. I have chosen, as my mother's son, to honor her wishes and stand by her through this experience and time of her life, and I'm doing so. And unsupported, it's put us in a precarious situation, and recently I, as one, have been preyed on by an establishment contractor, quasi-manager, professional. I think my blood test could produce evidence of professional alcoholic. And I do mean professional, probably 24/7. I don't know. There could be an intravenous feed there. I don't know. It's not my problem, not my business, except for its interference in our world. Like too many. It's not like there's a lot of private personal space between slots where you put your balls. But so there's an element of undevelopment that appears, or rather should I say, there appears to be an element of undeveloped human genetic species. Yeah, thank you, Mom, for confirming that socially correct etiquette definition and proper verbal construction of a non-superlative definition for, we can definitely say our opinion of human waste. Very much so. In its own its own example of integration. When one helps themselves to your very expensive property, which has no concern for them, and barges into your private space. See, I'm ranting. Well, not really ranting, but I am narrating the whole. This is serious social. And what's worse than the actual event is the condoning of it and attempted. See, what the owner of the property has done is prevented myself from acquiring the camera feed which proves my allegation. It's my I wonder, you okay?
Yeah.
You want to lie back a little?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's my suspicion. It's not even my suspicion, it's obvious.
Mm.
The property owner is angry with me for his own contractor's illegitimate activities. And he's not even, in what he's done is he is not providing access to the camera footage, which proves it 100%. And I guarantee you, I would lay Las Vegas odds 1,000 times % that he's covering up on the camera feed, because there's no way that he's not, because the cameras are all out there.
Yeah.
And so when he did this, he's pretending like it never happened, and that his hoo-ha over here with a parent, supposedly, because he was sort of bragging about this was my personal problem in a conversation with this person before he stole. I don't know what the proper term is, commandeered, barged in, disrupted personal space, property damage. And I guarantee you, if there was a blood test, he would have been skunkered to the skunk's nest. And beyond, in other orbits. So, I didn't have a reaction to it all until I put the keys in the ignition after I found them on my doorstep, after I woke up hours later of shock. See, I didn't call the police right away. I was in shock. I'm in very deep DEPCOM caregiving. And it is. And after 7 years of it, it's a big psychological process of, managing the whole situation. And so anyway, that was a side derivative that was going on, and I didn't even remember. And then I stepped outside. There were my keys, and then I went out the car. I think later. Oh, it was 2 days later. I didn't even go out to the car until 2 days later. And then I put the keys in the ignition, and all of a sudden, these bleeps on the digital dashboard in red, malfunction with, exclamation point, bleeping across the dashboard. And I'm like, well, what the who is this? Well, it turns out, somehow, hey-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-hoo, damage, destruction, Ito person only few feet away, hijacked the vehicle and broke it. Now, granted, it's 12 years old, but it's in good condition. It was a very expensive vehicle. It is still a very fine vehicle. And now it's broken. And the person who is responsible for doing this is taking no responsibility, did not even have the honor and decency as a human being or an American citizen to come bang on the door and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry for what I just did that was a crime in America, in Montana, 406, and even in Anaconda. Yeah, I can imagine that. Barge into your personal space, demand and take your keys, and haul off with your very fine automobile and destroy it?
Yeah.
And then not even cop up to it?
Yeah.
And not even make a mention of it?
No.
And not even honor your integrity as human flesh? There's a problem with that. And I hope it's not, well, I know it is more than just American culture, but it's really overwrought in America. It's disturbing that it's in Montana where there's not even still a million people. It's just stupid. That's why there's only one area code, 406, because there's not over 1 million people. There probably never will be, hopefully. So I can't think of any other place to go because the overpopulation destroys, and I mean the social foundation and everything. This is a nightmare. Anyway, so I don't even go into all that, but this other, and the property damage, and the irresponsibility, and the disrespect, and the illegal, conscious illegal. I mean, I don't care. If you want to drive an Audi, go buy one yourself and drive it any way you want and disrupt it, destroy it, and trash it like you do, like the 10, like whatever that is you live in. It's like a broken tuna fish can. It's not the same size. You know, it like rolls up the foil to go in and out. And it was from 19, well, let's say 53, because that's just a off the hoo-ha number. Okay, so anyway, tips the scale of just unbelievable nightmare. But we've been invaded by that, and that makes it more than a nightmare. It makes it touch down to reality, and that's horrible. You know, especially in my space, and then the terrible, tragic owner of the property, which is a nice establishment, minus all of the hoo-ha, and the denial, and the try to sweep it all under the carpet. This man was talking to me on the texting boo-ba-boo, because I've been bombarding him with texts saying, why don't you, essentially I'm just really blowing steam because the two of them won't take any responsibility for what, and he said, well, you're not an employee, you're just a contractor. Of course, Donna pointed out, family friend, and that, yeah, you're a contractor. It's like he's disavowing all responsibility for what appears to be a very tragic, drunken human being. That my problem in the point of communication with, I just being friendly because I need little breaks, and anyway, so I was doing all this interaction, communication, and just chat, right? Well, in one particular, the last conversation, he was a little bit to the sheets, and he was expressing what turned out to be very violent and angry expression of how happy and thrilled he was when apparently and allegedly he trashed somebody in prison. I mean, trashed. Beat the hoo-ha with a just, hoo-ha and nightmare and explosion of disaster area. Well, would that be anger and rage and unconscious nightmare and just, well, I guess that's why they place folks like that in caged, because they're, yeah. I mean, if you're going to act like a wild animal, you better, well, and that's the same behavior with, taking off with somebody's property and destroying it, and then not taking responsibility. That is not even, it's not ethical, it's not social, it's not kind, it's not couth, it's not legal, it's not social, and it's not even human. You have to be subhuman, right? Only subhuman, what do you say?
I said it's 10, was 10.
That's right, 10 past horror, right? O'clock. And it's terrible living because it's almost too close to 12 past horror o'clock. And it did when it broke the Audi. It broke midnight on the this is enough disaster area from Nightmare hoo-ha, when it now overflowed into personal property damage.
Yeah.
Yep, and they're trying to sweep it all under the carpet.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Didn't even have to say it. She just said it. Shameful doesn't even live in the same neighborhood of how low this is. People should not be so vacant that they just go help themselves. First invade personal space to help themselves, to personal property, to very important, especially when you're a sole caregiver, property. and go trash it.
Yeah,
I've had that car for 7 years and just paid it off. And in the same month that I paid it off, hoo-ha, went and did this. And I know there's fingerprints there still somewhere. And I know that they last for 6 months. And I know I can take it up and get it dusted. Mm-hmm. And I know I can pound the hammer of justice. And I'm getting back to the owner hoo-ha. Do you call them hoo-hoos or hoo-has? Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is of condoning and then looking at me and pointing a finger as if his contractors, unethical, irresponsible, illegal, damaging, and hoo-ha activities against assault against me, myself, and my mom, and our kitty cats, and our family, and our space, was our fault. And I say, no. And I am saying, justice must be served. That's right. That's right. And I think it's going to have to be. Because it's not right. And, I was getting to the owner who. Now, in a text, he started cussing. Like swearing. Well, I got into trouble one time because we had a horrible contractor for the company who caused a lot of serious damage. And, he went and started his own company and tried to steal our customers and all, it was just a horrible piece of human waste, sort of, nightmare disaster area. And unfortunately, Drummond has to host that kind of human horror waste from Hades. Anyway, who cares about that? That's long and gone. But
what he wanted to do.
Well, it was a destructive human being that is just a horror of humanity, and what do you call it? It just I don't want to even go I don't want to be negative. It was so long in the past ago, and it really didn't damage our company. Our company's only been evolving, even while it's just. I mean, it's not. I say it's just sitting there, but it's not. It's coding, and it works by itself, and it's on all the social platforms, and it's integrated, and it's still even just sitting there in like. Yeah, hibernation. We got you on your side for the bed sore thing. Mm-hmm. So I just want you to know that. You know what, Mom? I'm glad I turned down the $3 million. When I was offered the $3 million for the LMS. That I developed. It was the first in America. Online, on the internet. The internet was still just in its early years, too. That was really the power boost for my career. That was blue chip corporate scale development, and I had a bid from I won a bid, the University of Missouri contract, but I didn't take it because at that point in my life I was just a little bit intimidated by the whole. Because we were not only going to have to build all the technology and do all the development and stuff, but we were going to have to run it too. And it was the same time when I lived you lived with me then too, in the penthouse in Seattle, that was when the investment company offered me $3 million. And I said, well, I thought about it for a few days, and then I kind of had what do you call it? There's a special word for it. I had impressions that created a flash of the future.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so when I got back to the investment firm, I told them no on the $3 million. And I said, I'm not going to take your money. And it's like, they're like, ah! Like, who didn't take $3 million? Well, there are people who don't. And generally when they do, there's specific reasons why. And in the format in which it was being offered to me, I believe, I felt at the time it would have corrupted me. I mean, not like corrupted me illegally or unethically or anything like that, but it would have corrupted my, it's like you get this genetic entitlement in life, and it would have corrupted my coding, my biological coding. And so I said, I need to wait on this, let it come into the circle of, you know, the field and scope of reality at its right time. But what I found out is that there was something very far more important, because its time had came again, but then something happened. You fell down. Yeah. And I had made, you fell down with the Alzheimer's and dementia. And I had made an agreement to put the brakes on and just go into the whole hoo-ha of all of that with you. Honor your wishes. Place you where you need to be, where you wanted to be, under the circumstances that you wanted and set forth. And I've honored you as my parent, like I would have done my father had he not thrown me away. Shame on you, Mr. Ralph Hoo-Ha. Ralph. See, the Norwegians are they're like kind of Nazi, because Norway was invaded by the Germans in 1940 whatever hoo-ha war. And so it became a very cold culture. Would you want to take that off?
Yep.
Okay. Let me grab it for you. Okay. From one hair to the other. There's a lot of wisdom there. All right, so, dear mother, we're doing a series, in-depth conversation.
Yep.
Mother and son.
Yep.
Senior home care. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to put a staple on there, unsupported home care, and I'm telling you, you're here, right now, audience, whoever. This is going to end for society.
Yep.
And every human being must take responsibility for our elders. And to not leave them behind, because if we do that, we would destroy everything ahead and everything that is. And I'm surrounded. We're surrounded by sleeping humanity who's throwing it all away. And shame on those who are involved and those who would prey on it, like the hoo-ha. And that hoo-ha knows and is what it is. And that's what it is. Right? See, Mom? So anyway, we've got the feelers out, and we've got we've got family. We've got our, what turned out to be more authentic than our biological family. We've got our adoptive family that is unconditional. And it's accepting, and it's loving, and it's caring, and it's catching. And it's our family here in Montana has provided myself and my mother a safety net.
And me.
Yep, you're the mother. You are the West. And you are the best. And everything else is the rest. So anyway, because everything, it's all about you right now. It has to be. And, the adoptive family understands that, and they've been supportive of that, and they're the only human beings on earth other than Doctor and his crew, hospice, and community hospital network is our family and our friends. Everything else is human waste, including the biologicals. That's right. Huh. To hell. To hell? Now, is hell cursing? I don't know. Hell is a destination, according to religion. So we speak it in the biblical sense, not the cursing sense. Let's make that very clear to the audience. Yes, and to the censoring organization, or, the hoo-ha.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now, I think we should get you some hot chocolate.
Oh, I think I did too.
Yeah, you think so? Okay, I know how to do that. You know why I know how to do that? Because you taught me how to do that. Yeah. And I want to say publicly, shame on the biologicals if I haven't already done it. Because I just, what, in my opinion, is human waste. And it's so horrible to think that it's so close to the genetic code. And it's a slap in the face to the origins of genetic code that they came from. That's right, there's a hierarchy, and they have disrespected that hierarchy, and there are consequences to that. You better heed on that, those people. Well, it doesn't matter whether they do or not, it's not our problem. It's already probably kicking them in the yoo-ha, ha-ha, up the yin-yang. But that's not our problem. We are honoring and respecting the mother's wishes as it was designed by genetic code. And that's where we stand. And that is the code of truth. It's the code of honor. And that's where things like our religion sprung from. Because truth is true. Religion is superficial and social hoo-ha. That's right. The whole social hoo-ha, and I'm going to say it, the Mormons collected 10% plus of this woman's entire life income and then abandoned her. Now, to add insult to injury so far into it, lately when the other Yehu, hoo-ha, foo-ha, free, whatever, manga, the neighbor who come and absconded with the very expensive automobile and broke it, all of a sudden we heard from a Mormon hoo-ha, who all of a sudden, after 7 years, appeared on the scene to say, oh, well, I'll help you with that, to make a profit. But where were these people when the mother fell down to Alzheimer's and dementia? And that organization, after receiving all of that charity, and it wasn't just money, it was time, it was effort, it was materials, it was labor, it was social integration, it was primary, it was Relief Society. Look at that. See what I'm talking about? It was that whole thing that sucked on her soul. Sucked everything they could out of it, including money, cash, hard earned. And then they did the big A. Abandoned her. Shame is the only equation that equals. The family, too. The genetics, the biologicals. Well, if you do this, and we need you to do this, and we want you to do this. And she has a pathological sister that's woven her web over this one's genetic descent. Her granddaughter. And poisoned her mind, which has separated her. But no, it's not. No, we cannot downgrade the mother's wishes, and we must adhere to them. And other genetics are secondary to the biological origin of where all of what's going on, that's being the whole hoo-ha discussion, and you better do this, you better do that, we want you to do this, we want. No, you adhere to the source and you honor the wishes of the source, right? That's right. She just said it all. Shame on you to the whole biologicals that left her abandoned by not honoring her wishes and trying to disrupt and rip her away from her. Especially the sister who piece of trash from Yahoo, Hehu, Nagana. Oh, there's some human waste there, in my opinion. I've experienced it, I've watched it, the manipulation, the imagination, the fantasy foo-ha, the insult to humanity, the just human sludgery, just, we won't go there because it's just disgusting and horrible, and it's a disgrace and it's a disappointment, and it's spread over into my mother's own line of heredity, and that's more than a tragedy. It's a sociological shame and crime against humanity. Yes, a cultural. Yeah, I'm not talking about legal crime. It's a cultural crime. And they call themselves Mormon hoo-ha. Shame on them all. It's all for vanity for these people. They don't care about. They'll throw us on your sister. Remember when she made you sleep in a closet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I had to sleep on the couch, and she's, according to, it's been a while now since I cut them all off, but she poisoned your granddaughter's mind.
Yeah.
With hateful, what do you call it? Conjecture, conjured up to disrupt your biological granddaughter's impression and attitude and opinion of me, her uncle.
Yeah.
And she did it at the weakest time when she wanted to help you, genuinely, from her heart. Your sister took advantage of that and twisted and mangled it into some pretty serious poison, and it's hurting her really bad, and she doesn't even know it. But shame on her. That thing that she called a sister is not her first line biological, and it is a pathological liar, and it is a pathological destroyer. And I am saying these from experience, and I am not making accusations. I'm speaking of experience. That's right, and it will never happen in this presence or the combined presence, any presence that's anywhere near us, ever again.
Sit down.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if the granddaughter hoo-ha of my deceased sister, God bless her soul, is shaming the granddaughter now, the niece, gone wrong, she'll never know what darkness she sold her soul to. But that's her own problem, and it's her own, what do you call it, destination, and we already know where that goes. We've already seen it our whole lives, because it was her sister and the auntie from Helly, Janelli, from Belly Welly, Trilly, Kelly, Zelly, Manelli. Any way you spell it. Don't call it up on our telly. Just go stick your head in another jar of jelly. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. When you say, in terms of your granddaughter, when you sell your soul to the dark side, you get what you get. That's all there is to it. So hoo-hoo. Shame on you. Who in their right mind wants to live in you-ha-ha? God, it smells there. Smells like Mormon who. And Mormon who smells like hypocrisy in thick, smoggy, disgusting, chokingly gagging, exhaustion fume from fake foo-ha. Oh, it's my goodness, it's social disorganization that drags you right to the heart of hell. the magnet to Satan's Yuha Yin Hang. I think they call it, is fart, Satan's fart, a good way to describe the Mormon hoo-ha and the family that abandoned you to ignorance and what is that big word? Self-involvement, egotism. And no, it's all gone wrong. You cannot base truth, you cannot base reality on hoo-ha. And when you do, because you judge it with anger and bias, and you have no humility, you have no gratuity, and you have no you got that. And you have no respect for your hereditary. Oh, the brother is going, I don't know, it's all up to karma. And karma has made its judgment. And it's happening. So anyway, we got off on that for a while. That's right. But you know what? Where you wanted to be. Oh my God, we've already power tested the coach at 25 below zero. And we've kept it going with one space heater and intervals of one ceiling heater. Let's go? Okay. Well, that's kind of a neat thing about the coach. The driver's seat's right in front of us. And we are going to get and go, because we're not going to live in a place that insults us, smacks us in the face, degrades us, invades us, property damages us, terrorizes us. No.
Down.
Yeah, okay. Put it down.
Yeah.
I have to keep you on your side.
Yeah.
Because that's, number one, vile. It's human waste that does that kind of stuff, in my opinion. And it's damaging. And they're making it they're making a profit at these things, invading personal space and property damage and evasion. Well, there's satellite security now, so we've engaged that. And it's the eye in the sky 24/7 everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And so that takes care of that, because the next time anything happens... Oh, and I was getting back to the owner and the impropriety, and I think I got through it, but it was the profanity that he used in writing, and I told him don't do it, and he said, well, I can if I want. Well, he can, but he's doing it against MCA. And that's, well, the acronym for...
My mother came...
That's right. She was in on the coding.
Yeah.
She was in on the... She was in 19 hoo-ha, and she was in on the coding of this law in Montana Code. Annotated. That is privacy and communications violation, in which he uses vulgar curse language in written text. Now this is actually a crime against MCA code, which specifies you can't do that. And he says, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
And he said all that in writing. So what I did is I got a link for the Montana Code. I texted it to him. And I said, read this, and then tell me what you can and what you can't do. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it is because if you do it again, I'm going to turn you into the police, and then it's going to be hoo-ha. And you can't stop it because you already violated the MCA, which is the standard of law and what all law is made from in Montana. You can't go cursing in writing. I mean, you can nag somebody to death until they say, leave me alone. And then if you leave them alone, it's fine. But you cannot go cursing at people because it's really bad. So anyway, I sent him the code. We haven't heard much from him since. Because I sent that to him, was it this morning or, yeah, it was this morning or yesterday, or I think it was this morning. The days all mushed into each other on the 24/7 watch. I get 2 hours on Tuesdays, which I don't really get to go anywhere. It's not 2 hours. It's supposed to be 2 hours. But I don't get that. I get enough time for the nurses to come in and do what I would do normally, which is, all of the personal care in the morning and getting mom all set up, and then I just kind of crash while they're doing that, and then the doctor's block away. That's really good. So we're living kind of what feels like in the pit of hell's gut, Satan's like diarrhea, sort of human cesspool pit. I don't know. It's just what I'm saying is that I'm not making accusations. I'm making relative, suggestive communication of what it feels like to be in the situation we are in the physical location that we ended up with, the proximity to the medical provisions, and the hospice people are good. And I'm thinking about asking the hospice, because I have seen the head hospice nurse in action with what we would call
that's a stupid
no tolerance policy. And I'm about to send the nurse a couple of buses down and descend on the owner of the perch property. And yep, that's right. And she can give him the what who of how dare you shamingly fully have such. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I have actually gone in deep enough into the experience of the low-scale neighborology that I've actually experienced, because I just wanted to kind of find out what was all, with this whole landscape of what all this is, and this sort of mentality, and this is worse than my father was as an alcoholic situation. So I went down, and I actually enabled the person. That's probably a wrong thing to do, but I wanted to do a sociological study sort of in, understanding, and oh my God, the train wreck situation. And so I actually why I'm saying I know of the situation is because I contributed to the adults delinquent overindulgence into a substance that is, well, I mean, if you look at what the person lives in, you'll understand there's no words necessary. If you watch what it drives, you'll understand why it didn't care about what it did when it damaged my very fine German. That's not a car. It's an experience. Wow, I could do a commercial for Audi. I am a commercial for Audi. So, people should not disrupt, disturb, or help themselves to other people's property, damage it, create this chaos and havoc in, other people's lives without, not with notice, not without notice, just they shouldn't do it. And when they do it, they should be held responsible and made to, what does the law say? Make whole what they damaged. I mean, it's pretty simple. Without that code, seems like our society is just a bunch of, gorillas and apes. I don't know. Well, it's true. And we've just witnessed it. And such a fine machine has just been broken by it. And the irresponsible of the irresponsibility of acceptance of responsibility for the damage that another person has done to somebody else's property. That's just inhumane. And that's just like going right back to cavemen.
Yeah.
And that's got to be corrected. And that's what this whole hoo-ha is all about. Wake up, people. Take care of your elders. Go through the nightmare that comes through having to take care of somebody 24/7 who brought you into the world. Or is in that class and category of biological. Because if you don't, you're going against the human code. And in any way, philosophical, ideological, religious, numerologically, any way you put it, the truth is the truth. And, you know, not speaking religiously, but if you look at those 10 codes of biblical text, it doesn't have to be religious. It just makes sense. It's a code for humanity to exist and coincide in order and peace and harmony and prosperity instead of all this hoo-ha. It is not right to rip yourself up on tanks of gasoline, alcohol, whatever you call it, daily, and go invade other people's space, property, and lives, and be damaging and disrupting, and then try to shove it under the carpet. Okay, so something's got to be done about that. So right now we're looking for another pad in Anaconda, local region, with our doctor, our hospice, our hospital, our, you know, medical network, without being under the exposure. Well, on one level is corruption, because the upper management or ownership portion of the entity is what he's doing is dismissing what his criminal orientated, what I call a nightmare, on roller skates and flames coming out the back, nuke jet rockets. It's just disturbingly, I mean, disgusting and hideous are words you can use to describe such vile human failure. And that's what our culture has to figure out. We're going to go destroy other people's property and help ourselves. We're no longer humans. They're just apes and monkeys and, you know, jungle lions. And, well, if I have to be, I'd rather be the jungle lion than, you know, the hoo-ha chimpanzee like the hoo-ha over here, you know, on the food chain situation of relativity in terms of, you know, descriptive conversation about, you know, such a shocking, I mean, in the year 2024, some drunk running and barging into your residence and running off with your keys and breaking your property, and property manager trying to sweep it under the... Well, you know what? He's up for a privacy and communications violation if he doesn't wise up and somebody doesn't pay for their damage. The man hasn't even apologized for what he did. And so what I'm going to do is just be as vile, and I'm going to file the whole process of law, and now I'm going to file the, I keep looking at the heater over here, I'm going to file the privacy and communications violation with the district attorney of Anaconda, and they will just go ahead and show the property owner how much it feels like to have disrupted the life and all the irresponsibility of sweeping his vile contractor's illegal destruction of private property under the rug of his hoo-ha trailer park with a privacy and communications violation. And, you know, that alone will change his whole world. And that alone will give him a new perspective of his whore-hoo, ha-ha, contractor, you-ha person. You know where you can fill in the blanks of all those words of what you want them to mean, because you know And I know, she even knows. Oh my God. He's judging me. Because I'm exhausted of 7 years. And in hysteria and in anguish, really. And I'm absorbing a lot from my mom through this. And I just don't need to be disrupted by this vile.
Yep.
I mean, somehow, I'm not even going to go in to try to say I know why humanity becomes this. Well, it's like a backlash thread that goes against the grain and disrupts everything, and it's its whole purpose in life is to disrupt. And then what is this with a whole nother sector that just, condones it and tries to cover up for it? That's all wrong. Wake up, all of us, and be sentient human beings building a higher society in respect of planet Terra, Mother Earth. And let's look at all of just turn to NASA and the science and understanding of we're coming in the cosmology that we live in. Humanity is not a higher order. Humanity is essentially on planet Earth an ant or a bee on a scale. This is the truth, and it's the way it works. And people should not take advantage when they're knocked down like this person, my mother, with Alzheimer's and dementia. People should not try to take advantage of the people who are caregiving for people who are going through this processes of illness in their advanced stages. I'm just going to say, my opinion is human waste. And I will not tolerate it. Not genetically, not biologically, not hereditary or relative-wise, and I will certainly not in anything that lives in a tuna can next door that was, run over by a semi-truck 80,000 years ago. That's what it looks like. God, it's like Glenda on her witch goes the other way because she's scared of it. It's like a beacon in the sky. Worse than horror, worse than damage, absolute tarred base.
Yeah.
Fart foundation. Cesspool. Oh my hoo-ha. It's just the hoo-ha way. And it's too close. And you need to run over it. Just use a sleigh. It can go away. Find a bale of hay. It's gone astray. It has no conscience. And it needs to go away. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll just reposition ourselves in a more, sociologically correct environment that doesn't involve human degradation and destructive human deterioration and just alcohol. Oh, it's shame. It's shameless. And it's offensive.
Yes,
It's offensive to be violated by somebody who drinks way too much booze every day, all day, all night or whatever, and whatever, as it goes on So Grows and So Churns this episode and that episode of The Stomach Churns Again. We're talking about the washing machine. It needs a washing machine and a cleaning. But karma will take care of that. Just the effects of alcohol alone and how it kills you is enough to just, what a dumb hoo-ha anybody must, I expect, be to bury, or I would say at this, observing this, it's at the drowning level, where they drown, like my father. Interesting about him, he dried up finally, after he wrecked all family and biological and genetic, and you just see it was a mess. Then he woke up and found that he had married Satan's breath, and it was really bad because it smelled more like a fart. It acted more like a fart too. I mean, living in a bottle and all. Whiskey, of all things. You sitting up?
Yep.
Okay, that's it. You can sit up. You want to pull this? You want to pull this up over here?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Is that better?
Yep.
All right. Well, we had to make this commentary because we have reached a point of vacant humanity. We're serious. I'm serious. This is vacancy of all consciousness. To be so vile, to prey on all of this unsupported nightmare with obscene genetic, biological, what I consider mutation of a terrible kind. That in terms of the poor granddaughter was orchestrated by a pathological is the term for the sister hoo-ha. I do seriously, pathological. All the staple of pathological is narcissism, self-involved. Well, both of her sisters were narcissists, better than everything and every who, but not quite really measuring up to any standard of such self-entitled empowerment. Oh my goodness, this sister who of hers has so manipulated this one's granddaughter, and with her daughter deceased already, not to defend her mother against this one's hell-based sister who?
No.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. She's manipulated the granddaughter. See, the granddaughter wanted us to move to Utah, and we can't do that. Not when the Mormon who disgraced and did what they did. We don't want to live in the heart of that hypocrisy. See? See?
Yeah.
That's right. Granddaughter needs to see that. That's a disgrace. And you have bought the disgrace. And you own the disgrace. And you can live with the disgrace. And the sister, but the sister doesn't care. There's nothing there. It's just, well, we don't really need to go into it, but it was really quick. It was the last child of 6. It had nobody at home with it when it was grown up and spoiled to death and grown up with a self-entitlement. What do you call that? A self-entitlement illness, which has destroyed so much of what it's touched in its destructive little self-involved world, spilling every teapot it can bump into and everything else. But, whatever. It is what it is, and we're judged by our actions, and we're judged by what we actually, I don't mean our theatrical actions on stage with all society. I mean what we do at home, like here in the bus. You need to sit up again?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, you can lean back. Is that better? You like that? Okay, good. That's it. That's good. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much where we're at every day, doing the same thing. Except, see, most of it, this is a good time for Laura Lee because most of the time she's sleeping almost 24/7. So right now she's getting an opportunity and taking some energy to engage and to, so we're doing a video. I'm leading on some venting of frustration of some very unethical behaviors and biological, hereditary and, all that. Dysfunction. And it's wrong. And if you can't support your elders, stay away from them. Because all you do is dishonor them with your demands. And when you buy folks fairy tales without any verification or authorization, and then begin to form attitudes, opinions, and feelings out of those, and harden and crystallize that poison destroys you, not who you're targeting. And that's the truth. And that's my word of wisdom to the shameful biological family that has dishonored my mother and that downlight. And I'll tell you what, your mother in another realm is very aware of how you have slapped her, my sister, in the face, some of those who you know who you are. And of different relative designations. There's some serious repercussions for that with the karma thread on that one. We don't worry about that here. But you know who you are. And you've put your target mark for karma to bring you, well, all that you deserve from all that you have done. Because that's what we get in life. We get the results of what we do. Right now, me and Mom are here. We're a little bit busy doing home care, and we're doing it in an unsupported format. But you know what? We have non-biological family here in Montana that has outstripped and outweighed and unconditionally sponsored my mother, her fall, my leave of absence from work, which affects all of these particular folks who have pitched in and dropped a lifeline, our true family, our Phillipsburg, Montana family. And those are the people that we admire. Those are our relatives. And those are the people that we wish to thank, that we treasure, that we adore, and that I and Mom's energy will go the nines for, so long as I live and breathe. And that these folks, and they know who they are, can take to the bank. It's not a promise. It's a fact. Yep. Just like I'm on the scene here for them all. And I have been for quite some time. And I'm doing as I was requested. And I'm telling you folks, it's not easy. And it's a big calling. But humanity is it's not a slushy. And it's not a ride at the carnival. And it's not a religious order. It's life. And it's a higher order of ascending octaves in the universe that we inhabit, like NASA is actually demonstrating right now with all of the technology out there in the Wuhan space that we're now learning about. Even that Mars had all these oceans and rivers. And So as the founder and implementer of 406 Live Media, I dedicate the success and the longevity.
Like that's the name. So,
That's right. To Laura Lee West, native 406 Montana. You okay?
yeah.
Okay. Well, should we sign off on the epilogue or hoo-ha log? Hoo-ha log? Yeah. And this is for prosperity.
Yep.
My advice, I mean, I don't even know if it's advice. I'm just recounting what, it's just, I don't know if is the Bible religious. I don't know. It just seems to be a human code. So it's kind of, I think it's sort of a history of, of human origin and, from the Bible. Whatever. But anyway, seems pretty prophetic when it says honor thy parents.
You will honor your parents. Yeah.
Yep. And that's, so we adhere to that. And shame on those who would try to interfere and disrupt that. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Well, do you remember? Oh my God. Well, when you went to, there was a time we were having a spat, long time ago. We were still living in Battleground, down by the Lewis River.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to live with your sister for a while. The self-absorbed, what do you call it? Social path, or whatever you call it. Not sociopath, social path. You went to live with her for a while on the East Coast. They made you work in the office, probably for free. And they let you sleep in a closet while you stayed with them until you came back home. And that was, well, that's the probably, well, I actually understand that because I did the same thing. I got to sleep on the couch. I got invaded, piled on by her children when they would come out to they'd be scared of the dark or whatever, how kids are. And then her and her husband they weren't even married then. They were just shacking up. And they would ignore the children. Oh my God, it was horrible. It was just horrible. I mean, abusively so. I mean, they would be hungry, and what the implant husband person would do. You got to remember these boys are 3, 4, 7 or 8 or something like that. Anyway, he would, when they wouldn't eat, because they seemed to have. They didn't like anything. And I don't know if this is, typical of all children, that they went through this phase that they didn't like anything. Well, instead of, being properly square on that and figuring out how to do that by doctor, baby, children, hoo-ha thing and do it right and everything, this man actually got up and would take the plate of food and start shoveling it out with a spoon or a fork or whatever and just start shoving it down these little boys' throats. And just shove every single ounce of food down against their will, holding them down on the floor. Mm-hmm. And your granddaughter is taking judgmental epilogue from your hoo-ha sister who allowed this transplant man to come in and just trash her children. Except for the daughter, she wouldn't let him lay a finger on the daughter. And that one grew up to be, oh my God, well, so much for messes. They were nice children, though. I babysitted them for her for a while until I couldn't take it anymore. It was just really bad. So I went and got my own place down the street. Then I did my whole experience in New England on my own, and it was really fun. I had a great time. I think they moved off to Wuha-Wina, Gaiwana, Gahuha, or whatever, America somewhere, and then they did their next train wreck. And then they had you over there for a while, and they had you sleep in a closet. So I'm sorry, I just don't want that influence coming into our lives, and I don't care if the granddaughter is falling for all that hoo-ha. I mean, that person wouldn't know a fabrication from the truth of life if it hit her in the head anyway, or up in any other area, because it's
did.
just too, it did. That's the youngest one, you know. What a disaster area. Oh my God. And it's because it was just I don't want to, we're just going to forget all about that. Anyway, we're making this for prosperity, because prosperity needs its mark, and everything that revolves around it falls and lands where it does. It is what it is, fate is what it is, and karma is there. And we're not just anywhere, we're in 406, where Mom here wanted to be. Are you okay? Alright, you seem kind of active here right now. You're not generally this lively, but you got animated just for the future films. We're going to call this the monologue. Are you okay? Would you like it? Would you like it? Oh wait, it's the cocoa. I'm gonna sign us off here on the hoo-ha tube, and I'm gonna get you some cocoa. See if I can find a little dessert with that, and then we'll see if we can't get you back to sleep after that. And then we'll get up and have a hoo-ha day again tomorrow, like we do every day. Which generally consists of you sleeping most of the day, all day, every day, and me waking you up and feeding you and helping you change your undies and get yourself cleaned up. And you know, and the nurses come in once a week and help us, and the doctor is a big component. He's even, I probably said this earlier, he's walked over here without an appointment twice to check on the mom who. And so the son who is doing the hoo-ha. And we get high marks with Dr. Oh, yeah, with all this hoo-ha, with the trailer hoo-ha, you know, dynamic that we're living in. The doctor said, smack him, rip him, shred him, tear him a new one for being so sociologically incorrect, culturally incorrect, and inappropriate. And so we're going to do that. And satellite cam is going to help us document all the extracurricular sort of underworld hoo-ha that's been going on, and all of the evasion of it from the ownership's hoo-ha. You know, we don't cuss and swear anymore, we hoo-ha. It's so much better. It's more pleasant. Sometimes it's even kind of funny. Oh, hoo-ha, right? We go hoo-ha, hey. And then we go on our way. Back to the sleigh. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it just has to be that way, because it is what it is in this life. But I'll tell you what. Relative who? This one's my mom. And she dictates what she wants. I'm her son. She's in her elder stages, and I honor my parent. And shame on all of you for abandoning your heritage. And you will answer to karma. And all of its hoo-ha. However it comes your way. Who knows, it could be a bale of hay. It could even come out as, you know, I don't know, excrement on a tray. Disguised as desertal treats. But you don't discover what really was until you digested it. Well, you know, arrogance is sort of that way. Personal involvement and all the self-involved. Oh, you blah. Yeah. You take care of your parents. I'll take care of mine. And you can take your dishonor and disrespect. Get on your sleigh or your bale of hay and go your own way. You know. Are you okay? Do you want to lay down? You want to lie back down? Okay, so I'm going to get out from behind you then. And we're going to use one pillow so that you can lie back down so that you can get some rest and sleep. I'll get you a snack and a drink. Well, maybe we'll get you the 2 pillows. Hold on. Ow. Hold on. You got to stay on your side because of the bed sore. But here, I'm going to put this other pillow here. Okay, now lay down. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to cover you up. Move your hand. Don't put your hand in there. You can put your hand there, but don't put it in your... Ooh, we had an accident when I grabbed you from, I think, falling the other day. But didn't turn into anything serious, so always have to be ready for the unexpected in this situation, because it's going to happen every day, one way or another. All right. Okay, we'll say good night to audience of our video who we've done a whole, like, what do they call it, episode, a whole, TV series episode of all the power-packed action and Yahoo and Yahoo of Star Husky and Rutch. What other one? There was 2? Okay, well, what you want to see if we can make it 3?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Then we'll go climb a tree. Okay? That sounds fun? Okay, so that's what we're going to do, because that's what Mom wants to do. Are you okay? You're just adjusting yourself? Try not to lay flat. Try to stay on with the pillows from you laying down on the back. Yeah, you're okay, because we got to have some air. We got to have some negative pressure on the spot on your back so that the bed sore heals. The nurses, every week when the nurses come, they apply a new, they put some medication on there. Does it itch? That's because it's healing. So here, I'm going to tilt you a little more this way. Let me put my arm under you. Okay. What I'm going to do is, push this way a little bit. Let me grab you this way and pull you over so that you're like there. Now I know for sure that that pressure point is on the pillows over here that are propping you up. Okay. All right. You are in compliance with the nurse's instruction. The head hospice nurse, that is. Not relative. Hoo-ha. Shame on those people. Are there even people? This is why I have a problem with Mormon Hill. It's all a bunch of corruption. In my opinion, corruption, social degradation, and serious disruption of honor and decency. When you make judgmental opinions to justify your evasion and your responsibility to honor your elders and adhere to their wishes instead of your demands and your, oh my goodness, the trashing and the stories and the bashing of your flesh and blood, for goodness sakes. That is inhumanity causing what's going on in Russia right now from our own relatives in Utah and California. Go figure. Not on 406 time. All right, good night. Have a wonderful evening and wonderful dreams or nightmares, whichever you deserve. Okay, bye.